So, yeah, indoors again today. Uh, it's pretty cold again today. Uh, we had frost warning last night. I don't think it actually got below freezing, but it's been so back and forth lately, like 70s and 80s to the 40s and 50s, and now mid to low 30s. So I hope it doesn't cause any issues with the plants that have already, budded or bloomed or whatever. So I didn't get to getting anything done in the garden today. I went to Walmart earlier, got some grocery shopping done, but it didn't get what I went there for, which was suede cleaner. So I may have to order some, I suppose. But I couldn't help but notice the price on TVs. They had like 65, 72-inch TVs for like 300 some dollars, and it just seems so crazy to me because, like, I mean, every once in a while, you might come across like really old newspapers, or like you could even look them up, like ads of electronics sections of newspapers from, I don't know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and just like the price of electronics is just ridiculous. Probably more like 30 years ago for like a big screen CRT or projection TV, you'd be looking at like probably like 1500 plus, maybe more. I don't know. I remember seeing one from the 80s for like a camcorder, and it was just like ridiculous how expensive it was for how low the cost got just not even a handful of years later. But yeah, I really would have no interest in a TV that big anyway, but I suppose it's nice to know. Um, I recently got a new TV right there. Um, Actually, around Christmas time. It was early December I got it, so early Christmas present to myself because my older one had failed, which was I want to say my older one was a 20, I guess a 28-inch, maybe 24-inch, probably 28-inch. I don't remember, but anyway, I went to Walmart and they had the same make Vizio TVs. They had the same one I had, whether it was 24, 26, or 28 or whatever, was I think 82 dollars, or I could get the 32-inch for $92, or maybe it's 88, 98. I don't remember. It was $100, under $100 for either, and for the difference in price, I figured I'd just get the bigger one. Not that I had any problem with the one that I had, I guess. But it is the opposite side of the room, and I'm getting older. My eyesight's not that great, so slightly bigger is fine. Um, I suppose you get a computer monitor that big, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I can see it better from across the room, so. But anyway, not long after I got it, well, immediately after I set it up, I was irritated because, like, the setup process, I needed to download the app to my phone. Um, to set it up, and that irritated me because I don't really do stuff like that. So I would have preferred just to, plug it in, and I had like a Roku stick that I used in my old one. The reason I even got rid of my old one in the first place is intermittently it would fail to come on. Like I'd hit the power button, and there would be no screen. And I found if I shut it off and back on several times, occasionally the screen would come back on, but it may or may not have sound. And if it comes on without sound, I can shut it off and turn it back on, and it would come on with sound. But it got to be like I would have to do that every time I turned it on, and I could be messing with it for like 5-10 minutes to get it to come on, and it just was like not something I was willing to keep dealing with. I tried some of the suggested troubleshooting stuff, but wasn't getting anywhere with that. I didn't throw it out though, so I still have it. I just haven't like taken it apart to take a look to see if it's like something simple, like a loose, I don't know, ribbon cable or whatever. Um, so worth looking into, I suppose. I really don't care for the disposable culture we live in these days. Um, but I don't want to hoard a bunch of broken stuff either. So I guess you got to pick and choose your battles. So anyway, I got this new TV early December. Um, begrudgingly set up the app, set up the TV, and plugged my Roku stick into the HDMI port in the back because that's what I used in my old one, and I was used to their user interface and streaming. I liked the way it worked, and I was used to it, so that's what I wanted to continue using. But after just a few weeks of that, it started giving me like an intermittent, like failure to read error. So I switched to the other HDMI port, and that worked for a couple weeks, and then just stopped reading it altogether. So uh, again, I reluctantly and begrudgingly used whatever their Vizio streaming service user interface, whatever that I got the app for. And it was fine. I got used to it, and it worked for a couple months, and then I think at some point I like lost connectivity to the Wi-Fi or something, and the TV just would not come on at all. So I went through all the suggested troubleshooting, couldn't get anywhere. Called customer support and worked through it with them. They were very nice, very helpful, by the way. So, hats off to Vizio customer and technical support, top notch. Uh, but a lot of that is you get what you give. You know what I mean? So, um, first guy I talked to did did thank me for being so polite and calm and understanding, which I thought was a little bit weird that he said it. I mean, it kind of bummed me out a little bit because, like, you could imagine. I mean, I've had customer facing roles in the past, and some people are difficult to deal with, but like, he's only there to help me, so it doesn't benefit me or my cause to take my frustrations out on him. You know what I mean? So why would I? So he's not responsible for the situation that I'm in. As frustrated as it may make me, there's no reason for me to like project onto him for any reason, or at least it's the way I see it. Maybe not everybody sees it that way based on my experience, but like, you catch more flies with honey, so they say. So you ought to treat people the way you'd like to be treated, and I wholeheartedly believe that. So yeah, hats off to Vizio customer and technical support. So anyway, they got me set up for a warranty replacement, and I didn't hear anything back for a little while, and I wasn't really like sweating it because it was actually kind of nice to not have a working TV in my room. It was like a little bit harder to procrastinate. I mean, I still would, but like I had to put a little bit more effort into it. Um, so I called again to follow up again. Not the same person, but excellent customer service. No complaints whatsoever. So I guess apparently the first person I talked to, there was some kind of miscommunication with the serial number I gave him. I suppose I have a bit of an accent, so um, regional, I suppose. So maybe he misheard when I gave him the serial number. So anyway, um, made sure I got that squared away. They said they were sending me a replacement, a warranty replacement. Had to put a deposit, pending the return of my old unit, which I suppose is reasonable enough. Got my new TV, swapped them out, put the old one in the box, put the new one up on the mount, was setting it up, and went to the app that I'd installed on my old phone just a couple months ago and went to activate the TV, and it said I needed to download updated version of the whatever the app from the App Store. So I did that. Go to set up the TV, and it says it doesn't recognize the TV, and that that I need to also have a Walmart account or something, which I didn't for the last one, and I guess that was a bit too much for me because like I don't need all this tech stuff, you know what I mean? Like I just need access to my input so I can plug in my Roku and use that remote, like I was like already pretty irritated with my experience last time. I already paid him for this TV twice in 3 months. Just send me some stuff that works, you know what I mean? It's just like it's not just them, it's just the nature of business these days. Like I don't want anything made in the last 15 years. I don't want a car made in the last 15 years. Appliances, just everything, just junk. They just try to like harvest your data to resell it or like, get you on some kind of subscription or something. And everything's junk and disposable and nothing lasts. And it's like, I don't even want it. You know what I mean? and I don't know who would. It's just like so scummy, and so anyway, I was so like that was like just too much. Like having me sign up for a Walmart account when like I don't even do none of that. If I go to Walmart, I go there in person, do the self checkout, so I don't got to talk to nobody, and I'm paying cash. Uh, so I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I called customer support again. Talked to a lady who was very helpful. Tried to keep my composure, but I was like, I was pretty irritated by this point, and she walked me through the procedure to just bypass their streaming service or whatever their user interface or whatever they're trying to like railroad you into. And it was easy to do, but they don't. Obviously, they don't tell you how to just do that. I was like, look, I don't want a Walmart account. I don't even want to use your stuff. I just want like access to my input so I can plug in my Roku stick and watch the TV like I've been doing for the last 10 years. So she helped me out with that. It's just crazy, man. Crazy the world we live in and the way stuff works, and it's just like it's maddening if you take the time to think about it. But there is still a lot of like wonder and beauty in the world if you take the time to see it. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't even want to be involved with all this mess. You know what I mean? Uh, so anyway, got that squared away. That's fine. And since it's not been working, I really don't watch it as much as I used to, and I didn't really watch it a lot to begin with. Like we canceled cable because there wasn't really anything on, and like mostly I watch YouTube anyway, or like I guess we got Amazon Prime, and there's stuff on there that's pretty good. I did my taxes, procrastinating as usual. I mean, it's not like last minute, but it's like last week. So yeah, um, I tried. I recently, for the first time, tried this Budweiser Chelada Clamato, which I had seen before in the stores and thought it sounded kind of weird. And I'd seen YouTube reviews that were like less than favorable, but I'm not really one to like take reviews to heart or take other people's word for stuff without trying it for myself. So I was in there the other day and saw this guy get one. So I was like, well, I'll try it, I guess. It's like all things that I like separately. I mean, it's beer, tomato, clam, juice, lime juice, and salt. So it's sounds weird having them things all together, but weird's kind of my jam. So I figured it was worth a shot, and I really, really, really liked it. But anyway, I went to the store earlier, and I got another one of them, the Budweisers, and I also got a Modelo Chelada because I like regular Modelo generally, and certainly would prefer it to Budweiser. So I would imagine that the that their gelato was also better. Um, and I recorded a video, reviewing them side by side. And I preferred the Budweiser, which kind of surprised me. But I guess with the other stuff mixed in it, it's like the difference in taste and quality of the beer is a little bit less noticeable because it's just kind of there to dilute and carbonate the tomato mixture. And there was nothing really like wrong with the Modelo. It was probably fine, but it had no clam juice. And I would say in the Budweiser one, you don't really notice the presence of the clam juice as much as you notice its absence in the Modelo, if that makes sense. Like I don't know if you cook with bay leaves, it's like you notice their absence more than you notice their presence, if that makes sense. So there's like a depth of flavor and savoriness and maybe slight like fattiness or oiliness or texture to the Budweiser that was absent in the Modelo. Um, and I would have to assume that was from the clam juice. But I was really surprised by how much I liked it. I'm generally pretty like open minded and adventurous and willing to try new things. But I'd seen several YouTube reviews on it that were like less than favorable. Um, but again, I'm not one to take reviewers or people's word for stuff without trying it myself. You know what I mean? So I guess in that regard, I was a little bit surprised by how much I liked it based on how much I had heard other people dislike it. Which, in retrospect is kind of strange because it's not only is it inoffensive, it's really, really good. So it's like, I don't know, it's like pouring a beer in a V8, but a little bit more complexity and depth. Um, I can see why people like it. I don't even really like Budweiser like that, but this one was like, I'm sure you can make it probably better at home, I would imagine, with ingredients, but like for ready to go in the can, I would give this one like a 9 to 10 out of 10. And I'd give the Modelo maybe a 7. Maybe to 8 if I was being generous. And it wasn't bad. It was like I prefer Modelo to Budweiser, you know, any day. It's just inarguably a better beer. Um, Not that there's anything wrong with Budweiser, it's just like kind of unremarkable. So when I tried them side by side, was expecting that I would like the Modelo better, but with all the other stuff in there, you don't really notice the difference in the taste or quality of the beer itself. So it's kind of irrelevant. It just kind of serves as a function to dilute whatever tomato mixture and other ingredients and carbonate it. So, um, that was a bit of a wash. Like it being a better beer base kind of doesn't serve any purpose or benefit. Um, and the Modelo was well seasoned. Maybe a bit more like peppery, like black peppery. Maybe a little bit more tomatoey. Definitely darker in color. Um, but yeah, it was like kind of like drinking like tomato soup with a beer in it, or like V8 or something. Which again isn't bad, and I suppose if you got like a shellfish allergy specific to clams or whatever, or just kind of grossed out by seafood, I could see that being a benefit. However, and I did a video review of it, but I haven't posted it yet. So I said all this in there too. It's like the clam juice seems to add an added depth of flavor and savoriness and texture. But one thing I'd seen some of the other people on other reviews say is that it's like it smelled or tasted like fish, which it doesn't. It's like they're drinking like tuna juice out of a can or something, and it's just not really like that. What I said in the review is side by side, it's like you notice its absence in the Modelo more than you notice its presence in the Budweiser. Um, kind of like cooking. If you use or don't use bay leaves, um, like it's not a drastic difference, but it's a noticeable difference. Subtle but noticeable. Again, more in its absence than its presence. If it's present, it just tastes like it ought to taste, and if it's absent, it's like not bad, but missing something that maybe you can't put your finger on. So, and again, that surprised me. Um, I wouldn't have expected to like the Budweiser one better, but um, it's got a thicker texture and kind of like a slightly like fatty, oily mouthfeel and texture to it. Again, not in a bad way, but yeah, I was surprised I liked it as much as I do, and it's probably something I will continue to get because, I mean, it's different, but it's not. I mean, it's pleasant. Um, I don't know what the sodium numbers are on it, but I'm sure it's I'm sure it's not insignificant, but especially all the hot sauce I've been putting in it, which definitely adds to it for sure. But yeah, very, very much impressed. Would recommend. I know it sounds weird, but it's worth a try if you haven't tried it. And for all these reviews that I've seen of people that don't care for it, I just don't understand at all. I mean, I guess you do have to have a bit of a, open mind and willingness to try new things. But yeah, teacher to each their own, I guess. I just for for as maybe repulsed is a bit strong, but for as much as the reviews I'd seen had disliked it, I was certainly surprised to like it as much as I did and do. But yeah, if you haven't tried it, maybe you ought to. Yeah, it's supposed to be a little bit nicer tomorrow. 55 high. Friday 71 high, 37 low, and then mid 60s the next 2 days. Upper 70s Monday. Wow. And low 80s, mid 80s, mid 80s, upper 70s. I just wish it would make up its mind. But even when we get into the 70s and 80s, it's not like the brutal heat of the mid to late summer that we get around here. It's like, being on a peninsula, we're like surrounded by water on all sides. So, and just marsh and wetlands everywhere. So it's just like oppressive heat and humidity in the summer to where like you don't even want to go outside in the middle of the day if you can avoid it. Um, but yeah, I got some stuff to do in the yard and garden. So try to take advantage of the cooler weather while we have it. And on the hotter days, I'll probably try to reduce it to the earlier and later hours of daylight. Um, but yeah, again, we've got like a local collection for yard waste, but that's the first weekend of May. So whatever we got to get done, we got to get done before then to take advantage of that. Again, we got the fire pit, so if we need to burn stuff, we can burn stuff. Need to trim the rose bushes. Try to reset that butterfly bush as best as I can. I mean, I made videos on that before, but it's kind of in a weird spot. It's like between the like right outside my bedroom window. There's a porch patio, and right outside that there's a flower bed surrounded by the sidewalk. So it's just this little island of dirt surrounded by concrete, and it's right where the two roofs meet from the garage to the house. So when it rains real hard, which isn't terribly uncommon around here. It just channels the water right down that valley between the two roofs, and it dumps right onto that butterfly bush right there, and it saturates the ground. And it was so overgrown and top and front heavy that when it saturates the ground, it would, the dirt that the roots were in was so saturated it would just kind of fall forward. And I did my best to like, stand it back up straight and support it so it wouldn't fall down again. And I thought it did, I thought it did a pretty good job until like we had a couple like real heavy snows and ice to where just the weight was just too much. And I had supported it with a chain and stake well enough that it could no longer fall forward anymore. But the weight was so severe that it ended up like falling sideways instead. So it cut off a lot of the excess, height and weight. But to get it like firmly planted in the soil again, it's gonna take a little bit of doing. Like I gotta prop it up and dig out underneath the root ball and get it situated down as best as I can. Because when it tipped sideways, it kind of pulled the roots out a little bit, but it's still clinging to life and having like fresh growth now that spring's come and better weather. And but I've got it trimmed down to like a manageable height, so I don't think that should be too difficult, but still on the list of things to do. I need to trim the rose bushes because they're kind of overgrown, top and front heavy too, and they kind of leaned away from the house when we had all that snow and ice as well. We had that rosemary bush in the backyard by the shed that's like, um, since all that snow and ice is pretty much like 90+% of it has turned brown. So I don't know if it's like dead and unrecoverable or needs trimming, or like I'm not really the green thumb around here, so I kind of like defer to my mom's judgment. Um, I don't want to do anything to make things worse. I don't know if it'll come back, with better weather, or I guess we'll kind of just have to wait and see. The plum trees have already blossomed and are going to fruit, so I got to get that wrapped with the screen before the goes to fruit. And the Herculeos come out and bite them and plant their eggs and larvae. So within the next couple of days, that's probably a top priority. Gotta do the weed whacking and mowing here moving forward. Um, I could probably hold off on mowing a little bit. We've got a yard full of dandelions, and I mean, I like to see them first of all, but they're also edible. I was thinking of maybe making some dandelion wine or something, or soda, or whatever. But it won't be long before they all go to seed. Um, and I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I went out there and collected a lot of the seed. The heads that we want, the flower heads that we want to seed. So I got a bag of them around here somewhere. But yeah, they're tasty. I like to eat the greens. Um, there's a field maybe quarter mile, half mile from here. I posted a video on the other day, and they're just everywhere. So no shortage of stuff that I can collect. I was riding my skateboard around the neighborhood earlier, and maybe a third of the way around the loop, there's some violets over there. So they're also edible, but also quite pretty. So I don't know if I would goes as far as to pick some, but I at least want to get some pictures and video. So I don't usually take my phone camera with me when I skate around the neighborhood, but maybe I will tomorrow so I can get catch that on film. But yeah, I guess that's about it. I don't really have too much else. If you stop by, thanks for stopping by. If not, maybe I'll catch you next time. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. That's about it.